Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm happy to be joining you once again. It has been quite some time since I last recorded this game. In fact, this recording you're seeing right here is rather old. I don't know exactly how old it is. In fact, I will be able to go and check. Just give me one moment to do that. If you hear the sound of my mouse clicking, then, well, there's not much I can do about that. But either way, it's me looking for the original file and getting the exact date of the recording itself. It was recorded on the 6th of December 2017, so that's how long it's been since this recording took place. It did, of course, have commentary of its own, but I wasn't too happy with it, hence the, I guess, recording of the post-commentary that you're hearing right now. So, it took me a while to get around to recording this post-commentary, simply because I really dislike doing post-commentaries in the first place, as I'm sure some of you, maybe not all of you, but some of you are aware of that fact. That's one of the reasons why some of my Let's Plays stalled for quite some time, and that was definitely the reason for this one. Well, actually, there were multiple reasons behind this Let's Play being stalled. This is the second time Breath of the Wild has been stalled for me, unfortunately, but this time around it was a simple post-commentary that put a monkey wrench in the cogs. But anyway, that is probably a different way to use that phrase. But anyway, it doesn't matter. This is the area that we just finished exploring, the, I think it's the something plateau, something to do with the plateau. It's been a while. Once again, it doesn't take too long for me to start forgetting all the things that I've learnt from a game when I haven't played it for a while, but, you know, that's my own issue. Anyway, yeah, so we're leaving the plateau at this point. We need to actually head to Kakariko Village, as it's referred to in this game, and there are a few ways in which I can go there. Oh geez, I guess I've just spoiled it, because it doesn't say go to Kakariko, it says seek out Impa. Okay, well now you know, we're going to Kakariko, but there's a fair chance that you already know a few things about this game as you're watching it. If you don't, then, well, now you know that's Kakariko Village. Either way, I have, of course, played this game before. I mean, I'm just going over this for the people who are not aware. I basically ended up recording something within the region of 30 to 35 parts for this Let's Play, but then I threw them all out, right, and started recording again from the start. And that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Just starting it from the beginning again. I haven't, like, completed the game or anything like that. I've done a little bit of the content. I think it's a rather large game, so I'd probably estimate maybe 20% of the game I have completed so far, which isn't much at all. So therefore, for those who are interested in watching more of a post-commentary sort of, not post-commentary, sorry, a blind Let's Play sort of scenario, you may still get some of that, but it might be a while until that happens. At the very least, I am eager to experience new things in Breath of the Wild now, so I'll probably be taking a few alternate routes to what I was taking in my first playthrough, simply for the fact that I want to experience something new rather than having to retrace my footsteps, because what happens under those circumstances is that I feel like I'm just having to do the same things a second time, and it's rather an arduous process because, of course, I've already done it before, and then if I have to do it again, it's like, oh great, I have to do this again. Whereas if I take a different route, because it's an open world game, it feels a lot more tolerable, because of course this is going to be an experience that I haven't had before if I go in some other direction that I didn't go before. But either way, you're going to see something happen between me and this Moblin. It's a bit sad, and I don't really know what exactly happened. I guess I just forgot how to play the game, and I got one shot without even making any attempt to dodge, shield, or anything like that. Just game over, you know, that's how that works. So what that means is that I've been placed shortly before helping those two people out with, I guess, their monster issue, and have to go do that again. So I think the first time I got some sort of elixir, which I was not too sure whether or not I'd actually be able to use it, simply because, well, of course I'd be able to use it. It's just a matter of whether or not I would find the occasion to use it, because I'm one of those people that if I have a really good consumable item, I'll usually just save it until I'll use it at a time when I really need it, but I never know when I'm actually going to need to use it, because it'll always be in my head, well, maybe there'll be a better time to use it, sort of thing. So it often goes unused completely. So instead of talking to the guy, I'm talking to the woman whose name is Mina. and she's going to give me a fairy tonic instead. Now, this, it says elixir in the name as well, but it's not quite the same. I'm talking to this guy to see if he's going to give me something as well, but what this means is that depending on who you talk to after helping them out, you will receive different items. You'll either get an elixir, which I believe increases your defense a lot or something, which is it's not very useful to me. Like, increasing my defense, how do I know it's going to be necessary to start with? And how do I know that there isn't going to be a better time for me to be wasting it? So, you know, long story short, I'm not a fan of the elixir, whereas the fairy tonic, it's good to either save that for when I'm actually taking a shitload of damage, or if it's my last healing item. Those sorts of scenarios will indeed lead to me making use of the fairy tonic, whereas that elixir, I don't know, probably not. Either way, you can see I'm saving my progress to prepare myself when fighting this Moblin. Of course, the Moblins are not very difficult to fight at all. I would recommend using a heavy weapon because you just end up sending them flying. There's nothing that they can do to you. I'm using this big sledgehammer thing. I think I dropped that Boko shield because it was about to break. So you can see I'm using a heavy attacking weapon here just to send them flying. It's something of a stun lock. Not really, I mean, it's just the thing is that I keep setting him flying in such a way that he can't do anything to me, so, you know, it's a very good way to fight them. We just picked up a Moblin club as well as this guy's materials, but the Moblin club is a very good weapon to get in this area simply because they are of great abundance, and of course I don't really need to explain to you why that is. There are lots of Moblins in this area and they're all carrying clubs, so yeah, it's a pretty strong weapon that you can get, and I believe it's a very heavy hitting one, quite similar to this sledgehammer, and it's very accessible in this area, so yeah, it's quite a good weapon of choice, needless to say. I guess I'm trying to heal myself at this point, looking for something that's not too effective. Rushroom. What is that? When it has a name like Rushroom, you would expect it to have some sort of additional effect, like, I don't know, making me go fast! Like Sonic the Hedgehog! You know, because my Sonic impression is just really good. The reason why it's not good is because I need to almost yell to do a good Sonic impression. And it's, well, I was about to say it's rather early in the morning. It's actually 11:20 AM, which is, like, not early in the morning at all. But I still have a bit of self-respect. And I'm also a little bit tired, so, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Either way, at this point I was wanting to sort of head to Impa in a slightly different territory to where I had gone to find Impa in my original playthrough, because you have two sort of adjacent territories leading to where Impa is, and I went to the one on the right side. I don't use a compass point there because I don't know. Okay, so the one that is further east compared to the one that's slightly north of that, I went to the eastern one originally, so now I'm sort of considering whether or not I want to go through the other one, but I think I've made the decision that I'll just go through this one here, this area. You can see it's rather large, and it does ultimately lead to Impa's thing. So what that means is that area itself will become completely illuminated once I go to the tower. I don't know the actual full name of the tower. Is it a Sheikah Tower? Something like that. And of course once I go there, that area will be illuminated, and there's a lot to explore, of course, because it is once again rather open world. Now, this bird outside is really trying to sabotage my lovely post-commentary, which is not... I'm not very impressed by that fact. So this spiked Boko club is kind of my best weapon so far, but I mean, then again, the reason why I was going to say it was my best weapon is because it's rather fast attacking, but the sledgehammer has a lot of benefits in the way that it's so heavy hitting, so against Moblins, for instance, it just sends them flying, so they can't really do anything to you. It's pretty much the same with any enemy, to be honest. So, yeah, the spiked Boko club isn't quite as good for that reason. You can see that the Moblin club, as I was mentioning before, has the same capabilities of the iron sledgehammer in the way that it sends people flying like this, so yeah, it's quite an effective weapon, and as I said, it is in, I guess, great number. The supply is definitely huge in this area. You can just go and pick one up whenever you want, because of course the Moblins do respawn and there are plenty of them. You can see I've already broken one of them. This is why it's good to be in high supply. I'm trying to think of another way to refer to that, but anyway, it works, you know what I'm saying. think I'm going to pull out a bow, is that right? Yeah, so the Traveler's Bow is pretty awful compared to the Soldier's Bow, I think that one's called, next to it. Go on, Doomlink. Go and select it so you can confirm that it is indeed the Soldier's Bow. I'm pretty sure that it is. But, yes, it is the Soldier's Bow. So, that one, like any weapons in the game, of course, will break eventually, but I guess I'm just using the Fairy Bow. Oh no, it was the Traveler's Bow, sorry. It looks exactly like the Fairy Bow does, but it's called the Traveler's Bow. It's like, whatever. You get the point. But I guess I'm using it because it's just a Bokoblin, and I may as well not reduce the durability of a weapon that is very strong on an enemy that doesn't actually need that sort of damage output to kill it. Anyway, got more arrows, which is nice. You know, arrows are pretty good. I do like making use of them from time to time, but I don't use them as much as I probably should use them. I mean, for instance, I probably wouldn't do a bow main sort of thing, because depending on the game that you're playing, like a bow can be quite useful as a main attacking weapon, but I wouldn't really do that with the bow, simply because I'm not sure if it's that easy to get lots of arrows. It might be, but as far as getting lots of bows, that's not really the case, unless there is a bow in the game that does not have the whole durability factor, kind of like the Master Sword. I haven't gotten to the point where I've received the Master Sword in the game before, but I did hear that it's like one of the only weapons in the game, but doesn't have a durability aspect to it. And I'm just going to say, for those of you who are not aware of how I feel about Breath of the Wild, I do think it's a pretty good game, but I don't really think it's a great open world sandbox as far as, you know, this genre is concerned. One of the reasons why is because of the whole weapon durability aspect. I don't like it at all. People say, in defense, well, if you get a good weapon, you'll just stick with that one and not use anything else. It's like, well, that's your fucking decision. I mean, that's not the decision of the game. Like, the game isn't telling you, sorry, you can't use anything else. That's your decision to be min-maxed. If you want to kind of vary your experience up a little bit, you can just try using different weapons. I will use a comparison that I don't want to make simply because actually, I have a better comparison to make. Let's say Demon Souls. So, let's say you're playing Demon Souls and you've got a particular type of weapon. Maybe you have, let's say, a group of weapons that will work a certain way with a dexterity scaling build. You have some that are just noticeably better than others, but you don't just stick to the one that's best because you want to vary your experience up a little bit. So therefore you have a weapon that is noticeably best in terms of damage output, but then you have some that are slightly worse off, but are different in the way that they attack, and you can get different benefits out of them. What that means is that it is absolutely your decision, as far as, I guess, keeping your gameplay varied, to change weapons as you like. You are not at all required to stick to just the strongest weapon. So people who argue that the durability system makes it better in the sense you're always changing weapons, you can do that yourself, and that's what I would do myself. The point of contention for me is the fact that I've just gone out of my way, or perhaps not gone out of my way, but I've just acquired this really cool weapon, and I'm like, yeah, this is a great weapon, but then there's the thing in the back of my mind telling me, hold on, this isn't even like a permanent weapon. It's almost like a temporary weapon. It's like it's not even mine, you know. I think that's what it is. When it comes to video games, I'm very much about character building. And that means amassing weapons, armor, just anything. It doesn't matter what it is, even like meaningless items. That's why I can't play an Elder Scrolls game, because I'll pick up all the random shit that you don't need whenever, you know, looting a corpse. So I'm very much a character building sort of person. That's why I love Monster Hunter, because it's one of those very good character building series. You have people that can just replay the same Monster Hunter game without issue, which bothers the living shit out of me, personally. Not because they're doing it, but if I were to do that myself, that's very, very annoying, because I'm all about character building. If I've put all this time into a game, and all that character building is gone, it's like there's no point anymore, it's gone. I've wasted time, and that's really, really frustrating. So, whereas other people are like, oh, well, I like playing the game, so I don't mind. It's like, well, the entire point of the game has just been lost for me when I have to do that again. But, so for instance, to return back to Breath of the Wild here, because it's a game where items like weapons are just completely, well, they're destined to break if you use them. They are destined to break if you use them. There is no repairing system in this game as far as I know. And that's not very nice. Okay? It's not very nice at all. So, there are other points as well to look at, but I'm going to hold off on talking about them because I haven't played enough of this game to have like a clear outlook on how I feel about Breath of the Wild as a whole, but I think that there are people who like this game a little bit too much. A little bit too much. It's not really deserving of all the children waving their arms around saying, "This is the best Zelda game ever." No, absolutely not. This is not a Zelda game, okay? And this is extremely important because it's basically just a game that could have been completely non-Zelda related, except they put Link, Zelda, and Ganon in there. That's all it is, okay? And then also brought back some names and maybe some vague, similar characters, vaguely similar characters, I should say. You know, it's not a Zelda game. It's like a Zelda spin-off. In fact, it is a Zelda spin-off, in a sense. I'm being really, retarded here. I think all I need to do is jump normally. Is that what I'm doing? Just watching here. Yeah, okay, so I'm wanting to do a run and jump and then do that, I guess. If that will even work, I'm not too sure. I guess I'm psyching myself up. If I could speak, I guess I'm psyching myself up for this. Come on. Come on, Doomlink. Jesus, what are you doing? Yeah, that wasn't that hard, was it? Fucking hell. Anyway, I think the issue there was that I didn't know that I'd be able to climb up once I reached the edge of it. I was thinking, well, you know, how am I going to get enough height to cross that, but also land on my feet on the other side? The key is, I don't land on my feet. I land on my hands on the very edge and pull myself up. Now, I didn't know that at the time. And I didn't know that right now. I relearnt it as I was watching the gameplay, but anyway. So yeah, Breath of the Wild is definitely not a bad game, but it's not a Zelda game, and it's not without its faults, alright? I think that's important to mention. I'm one of those people who is very eager to point out the faults of a game when everyone wants to sing its praises, and I think that's similar to a lot of people as far as, I guess other things are concerned. I notice that people are very quick to take issue with things that are not video games that everyone likes. But, you know, when it comes to video games and they're really popular, they just somehow ride the hype train and don't really care if they have shortcomings. Whereas if it's, let's say for instance it's a popular YouTuber. You have a popular YouTuber, a lot of people like them, right? But then you'll have a whole horde of people who are very vocally disliking of the person for very small reasons, you know. The main reason why they vocally dislike the person is because they are considered to be, like, really great by so many people, yet these other people will look at it and go, or look at the YouTuber's content and go, "Oh, this is kind of, like, average, I don't know why this person has so many views," and all of that business. Well, it's funny that that sort of outlook is not mirrored quite as much in gaming. It's definitely there, but it's not mirrored very much in gaming, I don't find. People are a bit inconsistent in that way. If a game is considered to be good by a lot of people, most will just ignore the faults. They're not as relevant anymore. Whereas for me, I'm having a few issues with this chest. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or not. That looks like a climbing wall over there. And behind me is also a climbing wall. There we go. Doomlink has figured it out. At least I believe it is. I don't think I'm wrong about that. I think I'm canoodling with the controls a bit too much. Like, it's a lot simpler than this. It's like I'm trying to jump up it, but I think I just need to jump into it and then let it climb. I think that's what's happening. Have I given up? I've given up. I'm like, whatever, I don't need that chest, it's probably nothing important anyway. It's probably what I was saying in my original commentary. But anyway, I'm, unlike some people, quite eager to point out the faults of a game if it's well liked. And, you know, simply because I think it's important to have an open view of what's good and bad. Zelda Breath of the Wild, I think that there are not too many negative aspects to it, but the whole durability system does bother me a lot personally. But the thing that bothers me the most is when people want to call it a Zelda game. The fact that anyone can sit there and tell me that this is the best Zelda game kind of bothers me a lot. And, you know, it's kind of like saying, Oh god, what's a good example? There isn't really a good example because this is... I'd just be giving an example that would be less extreme than this one. Because this is clearly not a conventional Zelda game at all. It's completely different from all the other Zelda games. And yet, people can tell me that this is the best one. It's not an example of a Zelda game, really. It's an example of a game with Zelda aspects in the sense that you have Link, you have Zelda, you have all the other stuff, but it's a completely different sort of game that you're looking at here, so... I don't know, it's kind of weird, but... Anyway, I'm surprised that I'm still going here. God, this is 20 minutes and I've been crapping on a little bit, I suppose, but what do you do? What do you do? There's a big crack over there and I can see the tower for this... Well, not for the area that I'm currently standing in, but for the territory that is just a little bit further east over here. And I believe I'm walking towards the east. You can see that the very, like, the big swinging motion of this club is going to help a lot with all of these enemies. And I'm not doing too well on that front myself. The blue Bokoblins are very, very dangerous. They are probably going to one-shot me at this point. And they do have a decent amount of health. I need to be quite careful here. I don't know if I'm completely aware of just how strong they are right now. But I might be. Actually, I would be aware because, you know, I already had the knowledge of having played the game through before, so... Uh-oh. Just don't let him hit you, Doom Link, please. I got clipped by one of the red ones. The red ones are fine, I don't have to be too careful with the red ones, because they're only doing about a quarter to half of my health. Whereas this guy's going to do, at minimum, 2 hearts. Like, anyway, he's dead, so we are all good for now. Solder's broadsword, that's a very good weapon. Very nice to see. Going to throw a spear, I guess. I didn't know what was going on there. Lots of materials to pick up here. Those Bokoblin clubs are not very good at all. They're sort of dealing, I think, 4 points of damage. So they're quite weak compared to, say, my Moblin clubs that I have a large supply of in the area. So I'm not going to bother with those things. Actually, I think it's called a Boko club, and then the Bokoblin club is like a different thing. Anyway, was I saying Moblin or Bokoblin? I was saying Moblin, I think, before referring to the right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I think that I say things incorrectly, but I actually didn't. But anyway, there's a Boko Bat. That's sort of, I think that does 6 damage. So the Boko Bat is better than the Boko Club. You've got the Bokoblin Club, which is like the spiked one, I think. And then you've got the Moblin Club, which is from the completely different enemies. So I believe that's how that goes. But yeah, this is sort of a common thing that I see in the game. Whereas, where there are lots of enemies, and once you kill them all, a chest opens. So apparently my inventory is full, so I'm going to get rid of these fucking useless Bokobos. I guess. That's what I would be doing. Because it was the first thing that I saw. Why would I only get rid of one? Get rid of all of them, man. What if I pick up another good bow, then I'll just have to discard them again. I'm not really using the bow enough to warrant keeping 2 completely useless ones while I have 3 pretty decent ones. Actually, the Traveler's Bow is only 1 point better than the Boko bows, but you get the point. Uh-oh. I'm gonna die. I can see it. No, I was so close too. Shit. I keep forgetting little things like these. The whole stamina wheel. Link is very pathetic in the water in this game, I have to say. Am I going to heal myself? What am I going to do? I don't believe that I really need to cross the water here because this is not the direction that I was wanting to go. As far as I can remember. Just have the bee honey. Just eat whatever, man. Don't stop. Don't cross it. You don't need to go over there. Or do I? No, that is where I want to go. I don't know. Yes, expand the map. Okay, so I'm going in the opposite direction to where I want to go now. So if I turn around, I do indeed want to cross that river. I guess past Doom Link wasn't as stupid as I was trying to insinuate. I don't know how I'm going to cross that river. I guess that's something I'm going to have to work out in my next video, which is not going to be post-commentary. So I'll see you guys there. Thank you all for watching, and bye-bye.